let's talk about technology for a second, and especially you running a digital marketing company. What technologies have you implemented in your own company that have really helped enable your path to success?
Well, when we talk about technology, I think about IT, or information technology, with 3 I's. We've got innovators. These folks make technology, the Googles of the world. We've got implementers, so they take a product from one of these innovators and implement it in behalf of customers. And you have integrators, so they take 2 or more and implement it. And Lima Consulting Group falls in the latter 2. Maybe someday we'll start coming back and inventing more technologies, but right now we have an all-you-can-eat buffet with the last 2 I's. So what we do is we try to focus on the people, the process, and the technologies. And so when we talk about technology, we've really got to look at how we deliver our client service model. And that has meant we've brought in a tool called @Task, which we just love, and it helps us with our process management so that everybody has a radar. They come in the morning, they understand what they need to do, and it really helps us with our process management. And we're a virtual organization. I have folks in 7 countries that deliver the services we render, and we're able to start getting some of the benefits that we lose by not all being in the same office.
Wow, and just managing these remote workers, I mean, that's got to present its own set of challenges, and just, all the more reason why technology is so critical to kind of keeping everybody connected.
It is, and so of course, I mean, the smartphone and the iPad and the tablets and the Zooms and all the other things that are coming out is really keeping us connected in ways that sometimes is almost overwhelming because we don't get a chance to turn things off. And so we've also created a little bit of a culture that says, look, we need to make sure that there's an hour or part of the day where we expect folks to be very responsive, but outside of that, let's make sure that we're respecting each other's time, particularly when you have folks working in other time zones that are very different than the ones in the States.
Well, it sounds like not only are you a solid leader, you're a really strong manager, but I would imagine that from a West Point grad and Wharton grad. Good for you. So, Paul, in terms of technology, that kind of issues that keep you up at night. So again, digital marketing company, you're in IT, this is your business. You just shared that you've got workers working all over the world. So what keeps you up at night with the rate of how technology is evolving?
Well, I look at that as an opportunity. I eat data for breakfast, and I like to have some Wheaties as well. But data is really what's changing the way that the pace of innovation. So I'm looking at companies that are starting to figure out how to put dashboards that are easy, so that marketers and so that business users can use big data, and to set those databases underneath. In away from where the business leader needs to touch, and so he can go and reach into these things and get data that's going to help him turn it into information and then move up the value chain and finally take advice. So there was a study done several years ago, information valued at 45 cents to $45 an hour, information $45 to $125, right? So that's benchmarking, that's bookkeeping, and then finally advice. Well, that was crazy. That was $1,000 per second. But it comes in 6-second bursts. So you've got to go through that pyramid. You can't build a pyramid from the top down. You've got to build it from the bottom up, looking at the data, benchmarking it, and then coming up with your advice.
And what do you mean when it comes in these 6-second bursts?
Well, if you take a look, for example, if you're dealing with a financial services firm and you take a look at maybe their insurance policies, benchmark that against everybody else in the industry in their category, and what do you find? Well, you're 3 standard deviations away from the norm. You need to buy more insurance. And so it could be 6 words. And it usually the best advice is usually given in 5 to 10 words. And when you're giving advice on that PowerPoint slide, if it's more than 10 words, rethink it and make the font, like Guy Kawasaki says, 10, 20, 30. You got 10 slides, 20 minutes, 30-point font.
Mm-hmm. Well, that, again, I really appreciate talking about this. My first 2 companies were data mining and data analytics. And so when you say you eat data for breakfast and you like some Wheaties too, I couldn't agree with you more. So I think one of the things that I'd like to call out from this, though, is that there are tools that exist today that can really make understanding that data so much easier than ever before. And it's available for these marketers. And you don't have to be a hardcore technologist to understand it.
That's right. The future's going towards integration and implementations of these tools.
Yep. Well, thanks very much, Paul. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.